So are you a MacBook user like I am? Then this video is definitely going to interest you because Apple recently just updated their technical documents to include something that's very important to MacBook users who want just a little bit of privacy. We're going to talk about it in this video. So what I'm talking about is Apple introducing a new warning, and I kind of say warning loosely because they went ahead and updated their documents to include this. So it's not necessarily more warning than just them covering their asses, because they don't want anyone to say that they didn't tell them they shouldn't do this. And what they're talking about is putting those privacy camera covers over your camera on your MacBook. Like, you know, those actual little plastic covers that people buy to cover the cameras on their laptops, so that way nobody hijacks their cameras and starts watching them as they go about their day or use their laptop at home. Apple's saying that if you put those on certain MacBooks, now they didn't specifically narrow down the MacBooks themselves, but they did say that it would more probably affect the newer MacBooks, the one that are ultra thin, that if you put those covers on your camera and you close your laptop case with that cover on, it can possibly damage the screen of your MacBook itself. So what the document actually says is that that tight space between the screen and the keyboard is not tolerable enough. There's just not enough room there to accommodate for a camera cover. Now, if you are security conscious or privacy conscious like I am, I'm just really weirded out about having an uncovered camera. It's the weirdest thing in the world because I don't even worry about cameras being covered on other devices. I have my mobile phone with the front-facing camera. I don't cover that. I don't cover any of the other cameras that may be around. But when it comes to like your laptop or webcam or anything like that, for some weird reason, we're very weirded out about those being uncovered. But what Apple's saying is that in their particular case, you really shouldn't worry about it too much because their camera on the MacBooks can't be activated without that green light that indicates that the camera is working. And I fully understand that, and I can even accept that. But the problem is that green light doesn't prevent someone from looking in. It only tells you that someone is looking in, which is even a little bit more creepier to me, because then you know somebody's actually watching you. In the introvert, if you have it completely covered, even if that green light comes on, you know they can't see you because the camera itself is covered. Now, one of the interesting talking points is after I read this article, I just kind of did a grass survey about how many people actually cover their cameras, and it was more people than I actually thought. I thought people just went about not covering their cameras for the most part, unless a scenario happened where you became really conscious of it and then started covering your camera. Like for me, for instance, I know just one time I had my MacBook and for some strange reason that green light popped on and the camera was uncovered. Now, it possibly could have been something that I did to turn on the camera. I'll tell you that shit scared me enough that I never went without covering my camera from that point on. But I don't actually go out and buy a camera cover. For the most part, I just use a very small piece of tape to cover the camera and never really worry too much about the adhesive on the screen itself because the cameras are always up and out of place and the tape is never really too big. It's just cut in a perfect type size. And I know some people have like a small piece of paper and they'll use like a piece of tape to cover that piece of paper over the camera. But I do know people actually go out and buy these camera covers from like Amazon and use them on their laptop. So I don't know if this is going to be enough of an explanation for those people. Apple's probably gonna have to either start working out how to make their cameras a little bit more private, or even start engineering their cameras with a cover over it, considering that they are a company that kind of hones themselves on being all privacy conscious. This seems to be like a glaring thing for most people with laptops, is that they don't want their camera exposed and they want it covered in some way, shape, or form. It's kind of a trade-off. If you want a really skinny laptop, you may not be able to use a camera cover, but we still don't want our cameras exposed fully. Now, this didn't just pop up out of the blue. There are some people who have been damaging their screens with these camera covers. So again, I think Apple's just kind of doing this to say, see, look, we put it in our documents, we put it out into the news world that you guys are going to be buying these covers at your own risk. My overall suggestion is, if you feel weary about it at all, cover your camera, but maybe use a piece of tape. I don't think the small piece of tape is going to damage your screen, and it's definitely thin enough that your laptop should be able to close. They're saying that it has to be something paper thin. Tape isn't really too bulky. I know it doesn't look as fashionable maybe as a camera cover, but it definitely won't damage your screen if you're closing it like if you purchased a camera cover. And this definitely doesn't go against Apple's specific documents that they throw up on their website. Or you could trust in that green light, right? If you see that green light turned on, that means your camera is on, and if you didn't turn it on, you can then close your camera. And I guess they wouldn't get to see as much as, you know, if you're very alert and see that green light on. It's just that green light would weird me the hell out if there's nothing covering the camera and that green light just pops on. I think that's even a more tense situation than if the camera is actually covered. So if you're at all worried about it, my suggestion would be to cover the camera with something very thin, or probably not use a camera cover because Apple said they're not going to cover it unless you have like the extended Apple Care Plus. Then if the screen gets damaged, of course that is covered because they cover physical damage in that case. But if you're just under a regular warranty, they're probably not going to cover your screen damage if it's brought on by covering the camera with these camera covers. So I always wonder what you guys think, of course. What percentage of you guys actually care about this? Who covers their cameras on their laptops? And then the other two questions are, if you do cover your camera on laptops, one, do you use a camera cover? Two, or do you just use a piece of tape? Let me know if you cover your camera and what type of camera cover you actually use on your laptop. And given this news, are you going to continue to use that camera cover or piece of tape on your laptop, or are you going to trust in Apple with that green light to let you know if your camera has been activated or not? Please go ahead and share your thoughts and comment in the comments section down below this video. And while you're down there, if you enjoyed the video, you know exactly what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button because it lets me know I did a good job, and that bell for notification. The bell is actually pretty important because it's the only way you guys are going to know when we release some cool, helpful content like this one. Until next time, guys, you can check out some of the other videos we have. I'm going to throw a couple up here. And as always, guys, make sure to stay safe, cover those cameras. And until next time, peace out.